Our everyday interactions with our world allow for the sharing of bacteria, and if they are carrying resistance and they cause an infection, they are then going to be difficult to treat. And so understanding how resistant bacteria are shared between humans and animals and the environment is really important. To answer this question about transmission between humans, animals and the environment, I already had data on humans and dairy cattle and dairy cattle environments, and to piece the puzzle a little bit more together, I picked dogs. They share our homes, we're in close contact with them. That allows for the sharing of bacteria. I had to recruit 600 dog owners to participate in the study. I would sample the dogs' fecal samples to obtain the E. coli and take it back to the lab, perform microbiology and molecular analysis, and then look at the whole genome sequencing data. The main findings of the study were that dogs carry around 10% of resistance to critically important antibiotics, and the main risk factor for this was associated with raw feeding. When animals on farms are given antibiotics, it can then be carried on the meat that's then produced from farms, and then if dogs are then eating this meat and it's not being cooked, the bacteria aren't being killed, and therefore if there are resistant bacteria, the dogs are going to ingest this. Another risk factor we found was urban river swimming. Wastewater treatment plants, when they get full, they can overflow and then they can go into our rivers, and that allows E. coli to be present in the rivers, and if they're swimming in the river, then they can pick it up from there as well. So I formed a collaboration with Bristol Zoo. I wanted to see whether there was any sharing between humans, the dogs and the animals within the zoo, as we all live in a close environment. However, the zoo is quite confined and the studies did show that. So there was no evidence of the resistance in the local human population and the dogs that we sampled in the study. The resistance that we found in the zoo was being shared between different species and different enclosures. So that suggests that the bacteria carrying resistance are being shared somehow, even though these animals don't come into contact with each other. And this could possibly be via many different routes, either people going into the same enclosures and perhaps carrying them on Wellington boots, or cleaning equipment. I think the PhD has been so helpful. We've got PhD students in my cohort and in the cohort below who come from a range of different backgrounds, range of disciplines. And when we all get together and we talk about our research, it's so different. It's trying to tackle and answer the same problem, but because we come from different backgrounds, we then find out new knowledge in new areas that we can perhaps apply to our work. The PhD has finished and I got a job working with the Welsh Government looking at resistance on farms, and the techniques and skills and knowledge that I've gained during my PhD have allowed me to fill the position, and it's applying all the techniques and skills that I've learnt during my PhD on these farms, and hopefully then I'll be able to see the transmission of resistance moving between different species in Welsh farms.